Welcome, everyone, back to the podcast of champions. It's week one. I'm David Woods, Bruin Report Online, the UCLA site on the 24/7 Sports Network.
And I'm Ryan Abraham from USCFootball.com, the USC site on the 24/7 Sports Network. And together we make the podcast of champions, talking all things Pac-12 football. We got 12 games lined up for week one. We got to recap what happened in week 0, but we're going to the meat of the schedule here. You know, week one.
The thickness, the girth.
That's where it all matters,
Yes.
right? A few FCS teams, bunch of road games for Pac-12 teams that probably shouldn't play in these teams on the road, but
Sure.
we got some exciting games. We're recording this on Thursday morning, but we have games tonight in like 6 hours. We got kicking off Florida and Utah. We got Arizona State coming on tonight.
We got kicking off. We do.
We got some kicking off happening. Right at the top of the show, I want to mention this before we get into anything else. We are doing our survival pool. If you want, so we're putting the link, if you're on our YouTube channel, actually I might be able to put that link in there, but I tweeted it out from the Pac-12 podcast account. You need to put in your picks if you wanted to take either Utah or Arizona State. You got to get your picks in today before that game kicks off. Otherwise, you can pick one of the 10 other teams. And if you don't get in today, you can't get in. This is a survival pool. It's for the whole season. So what I like to say, David, you can't lose it. You can't win it week one, but you can lose it. And you can definitely lose it if you don't put your picks in. So we need everyone to get their picks in there. Can we do I think we can add the link.
That's a great question for me.
Let me see that. Let me see if the link. Oh, yeah, here, I'll put the link in there.
Put the link in
Link is in the chat. So if you're watching us, first of all, thank you if you're watching us live on YouTube. Just really crush, not smash. We're going to go beyond smashing.
No.
Just crush the like button. And that bell signifies we're going live.
If your
Click that
computer
too.
monitor or phone or whatever doesn't have a crack in it after you hit that like button, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You understand?
But I put the link in there if you're watching live or if you're listening. Just get in there because some people might want to pick either Utah or Arizona State. I'm not going to tell you which one for the survival pool. And we'll do our picks and stuff later. We can, all the stuff is the same. Email us, pac12podcast@gmail.com. We have 4 voicemails today, including the Zodiac Killer. We'll get to all those. 424-532-0678 is the number. You can tweet us at Pac-12 Podcast. And the website is pac12podcast.com. I think we're still on Reddit, but I don't really look at that. Apple Podcasts. Do we have any new reviews, David?
We do have 2 new reviews.
Oh, let us do that.
One is from yet another Duck fan. It's a 5-star review. This podcast now is fine. This is a 5-star podcast. Are they good at knowing football? Not really. My friend at work who drinks a little too much has better takes on pretty much everything. Are they the best at podcasting? No, they don't know how to work their soundboard, can barely read their native language, and could probably use an intern to help the olds with the internet. They're great because they do it every week, most of the time. They don't take themselves too seriously, and they have a great time. I could listen to these 2 talk about presidents, princesses, or even college football. Good job, guys, and can't wait to listen to you in this next hellscape stage of college football. Then West Texas Mike, 5-star review. Labor of love. For Ryan Abraham, POC is a labor of love. Editor's note, this was written before POC gained monetized ads on Monday and Ryan started dunking on listeners. You know how someone says, I'd pay to be able to do that for a living? That's Ryan. You can see it in that beaming smile he exudes at the start of every episode. You can hear it in his out-of-breath, incoherent, childlike stories, his random out-of-left-field hypothetical questions. What if a hurricane and an earthquake hit Southern California at the same time? What if the Pac-12 were down to like Washington State, Oregon State, Stanford, and Cal? What if USC left to go and play in the Big Ten? That'd be so awesome. Sometimes you almost want to say, why are you bothering me? Go outside and play with your volleyball. And if Ryan is the kid, then David is the wizened stepdad. All he wants to do is raise the kid right, give him an accurate lesson on history, teach him how ruthless the world really is, and then at the end of a long Saturday, pour himself a couple fingers of whiskey, enjoy a ridiculous 32-point comeback finish to a late-night football game between 2 West Coast football afterthoughts only 7 other people in the world are watching, and then turn in, maybe honk a boob, and get a good night's sleep. What more could you ask for from this duo? West Texas Mike.
Hey, thanks, West Texas Mike, for the review and all the reviews there. We appreciate that. Yeah, we got a lot to get to. And it's probably going to be a long show because we got to preview like 12 games. But before we jump into that, I want to talk about MyBookie because speaking of those previewed games, David, I smashed a lot of bets going into week one. So Football's back, and I'm so excited. It's winning season over at MyBookie. NFL, college football, of course, Pac-12 football. Brand new cash out system gives you options to bet and win all season long. The first 2 legs of your parlay hit, you could cash out early and use the funds on another bet or let it ride for a chance at a bigger payday. Use early checkout as a tool to stay in control of the action at MyBookie. To get started, go to mybookie.ag. Register now for an account. If you don't have one, it's register for free. And when you make your first deposit, if you use the promo code PAC12, you'll grab a welcome bonus on the house. That's promo code PAC12 to claim your bonus. And for a limited time, free chip use in the mybookie.com casino or mybookie.ag casino. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only at MyBookie. And I got clarification, David. So the promo code's PAC12, right? Limited shelf life on that. We are locked in. If we keep going, whatever we do this podcast on, if we start talking about saving the Amazon rainforest, we can still use promo code PAC12.
Hell yeah, baby.
Going forward.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, go over there. But I did put a lot of bets in this week. Some over-unders. Should be fun.
That's going to be great. Yeah, you need to make up for your early failure here.
Yes, with the first week.
What is the record in our picks so far this year? It's hard to keep track.
You're 1-0. I'm 0-1.
Oh.
You typically, even when I've destroyed you a bunch of years, usually the first couple weeks you do better than me. Like it's just, but then I'll come on now. The weeks the years I think you've won twice, out of the 8 years or something. That's when I just don't come back from the early. But I usually am down a bunch of games from the first couple weeks, all the out-of-conference games. You always do better out-of-conference, and then I usually beat you in the other stuff. But, yeah, so it should be a lot of fun.
Right.
All right. Well, I guess we have to start off with we're recapping our first game, right? So I guess it starts off with
Pac-12 Roundup.
All the games from week 0. Oh, we have some little newsy stuff too. Should we do that?
This is a mess, but yes, please.
It's a mess. I'm all over the place.
We also haven't done our power rankings.
Oh, crap.
Yep.
We should do that live on the air?
Yeah, we should.
Okay. We can, definitely do that. So let's just do these kind of quickly. College football playoff meetings were yesterday. So funny. So some of the reporters were down there in Dallas. George Kliavkoff was actually there. Ross Dellinger does a great job. He switched over to Yahoo now. He said they were trying to catch him. He was running out up the stairs, when he left the meeting. Got to go catch a flight, which is what Rick George said when he was leaving Pac-12 Media Day. So it was a little shot at that. But apparently in the meetings, they didn't make any decisions to change 2024 and 2025. As of 2026, there's no anything. So the playoff could just be, they got to renegotiate everything. It might be like a NFL model where Fox and ESPN and Apple, everybody's involved. We'll see. But it looks like it's likely that they go down from 6 automatic qualifiers to 5 and then 7 at-larges, depending on what happens with the Pac-12. They basically are we can't make any decisions yet because there's one of the power conferences that we don't know what's going to happen. But it was funny that Kliavkoff was there, so I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah.
Do you care about that?
No. God, no.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people really upset about this. Arizona State, in this new era where the NCAA says, what we're not going to do anymore is bowl bans 3 years after the violations happen, because now you're punishing kids that, weren't having anything to do with this, whatever the scandal was. So what does Arizona State do? They give themselves a bowl ban.
There's many levels to this.
Yeah.
First, they could have done this last year. They didn't.
Right.
They could have actually punished, the staff and, team that had performed the violations. They didn't. They could have done what Tennessee did, which was a series of monetary fines and recruiting restrictions. They also didn't do that. And instead, they didn't announce this in April, when they probably knew they were going to do this.
When kids could have transferred
Correct.
Or anything. Yeah.
No, instead of doing any of that, they waited till basically a week before the season starts to drop this bombshell on this team. Dillingham had it written in his contract, so I find his reaction kind of disingenuous because he probably knew something like this was coming. But
I don't think he's disingenuous, man. He's always fiery.
So
you don't like that.
I will say I find the firiness also a little disingenuous. It feels
Really?
like somebody play acting as a head coach
He's
to me. He's 33. You don't behave like that at 33.
He's a head coach for the very first time.
Like-
I think it's genuine.
No. But
Okay.
But he's got that fiery demeanor, and he was super pissed off. And that video from Cartman, which is great, went pretty viral. But I feel bad for the players because they didn't have this written into any contracts that they signed. I mean, Dillingham has it in there that he gets a raise for any years that they are penalized by the NCAA. He had to know something might come because otherwise, why would he have that written in his contract?
Yeah.
But the players don't. I mean, it sucks for them. It's horrible. So anyway, Ray Anderson should continue to have been fired about 5 years ago, but should be fired now.
Yeah, and just in case, if you guys are watching on YouTube, either live or replay, up on the screen right now is Coop. The ASU fan sent us this on Twitter. There was two different vans that looked like they were wrapped. But if you're just listening, it basically has Smokey the Bear with an ASU hat on, and it says, "Only you can save ASU athletics. FireRayAnderson.com." So they do not want Ray Anderson to continue to be the athletic director at ASU. He should have never been hired to be the athletic director at ASU. He shouldn't be allowed to hire his former client and Herm Edwards.
Shouldn't have been allowed to make a second hire, even if it looks like it's a good one.
I mean, like 2 years into Herm Edwards being on staff, before Herm was fired, Ray should have been fired. Yeah. So wherever, that's where we're at. But yeah, that was thanks for sending that photo over there. That was kind of interesting, but just sucks for the players, and who knows how it's going to impact them going forward. But hopefully they can. It would be really a disappointment if this is a 6-6 team, and they don't end up going to a bowl game. So
yeah.
Ernesto says Smokey the Sun Devil. LOL. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And so there was a couple vans that just say Fire Ray Anderson. I think they're probably driving around Scottsdale or Tempe or wherever and checking out the scenery, and people are probably honking and saying, yes, we should do that.
All right, so should we just use my power rankings since I did them?
Okay, what are your power
So mine are
rankings?
semi-joking, so we have to figure out where to put USC because I've got USC's defense at a different place in the power rankings.
Okay,
than
well,
USC's
then we're not
offense.
using yours if we do it.
So we can put USC. I think the combination of the two, let's put them number 2.
All right, who do you want 1?
I want Washington number 1.
Okay, Washington 1, USC 2.
Oregon 3.
Okay.
Utah 4.
Hold on a second.
Jesus.
Oregon 3. Utah 4. Okay.
Oregon State 5.
All right.
UCLA 6.
Got that.
7 for Arizona.
So Arizona. Okay.
Washington State 8.
All right.
Colorado 9. ASU 10.
Okay, hold on. Colorado.
Yeah. This is great podcasting.
Hey,
you have ASU 10?
I got ASU 10.
You got Cal 11?
I got Cal 11 and Stanford 12.
All right.
I like it. So I picked USC to win the conference. I mean, but we'll wait and see, what this weekend looks like. Washington plays Boise State. USC.
Well, it's clear, I think, from week 1 that even if we had USC number 1, they still have a lot of talent deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball. Alex Grinch doesn't have a lot to work with there. So I think we just got to drop them a level.
I love that we have to find
now,
something.
If Grinch, I think, can work some of his magic, and he's got it in him from his many years as a successful defensive coordinator at the highest level of the sport, maybe we can have them back up at number 1. But for now, it's just, it's obvious that, Bear Alexander wasn't quite enough. All the changes at linebacker, all the changes. Anthony Luke is not quite enough to make up for, let's just call it what it is, the devastating effect of sanctions still on the USC's talent acquisition on the defensive side of the ball.
EVS says, of course you picked SC to win the conference, Ryan. No, I pick them when I think they're going to win. Go listen to all the Clay Helton years of this podcast. I wasn't picking USC to do anything.
Well, when you've got a staff that includes Lincoln Riley on the offensive side of the ball and Alex Grinch on the defensive side of the ball, how can you not
Cliff
pick
Kingsbury.
How can you not pick them?
And the best player in the sport
to not only win the conference, but win the national championship.
Yeah, I don't pick that. Like, people got mad at me because I'm like, are they a national championship contender? I'm like, no, but like they could be a playoff contender. They could make
obviously.
A playoff
Again, you've got Alex Grinch.
Right.
What more could you want?
You're really grasping at straws on this one. Just trying to do this. But all right, we got to recap our first game, week 0.
USC Trojans.
They were hosting San Jose State, the Spartans.
Mighty San Jose State. USC won the football game by a considerable margin. I will add 56-28.
Yes.
That's a 4-touchdown victory.
It was.
That's pretty impressive.
But the spread was 4 touchdowns and a field goal.
And which one of us picked
You
the correct?
picked, yeah.
Interesting. So this game,
They were winning by 35 late in the fourth quarter, but did not hold on to that.
yeah. So here's what I would say about this game is if you didn't hear anything about USC's offseason acquisitions on the defensive side of the ball, this would completely be a completely coherent follow-up to last season. Decent group of 5 team that has a decent quarterback situation, being able to score some points on USC totally makes sense. And USC's offense being unstoppable totally makes sense. But knowing what USC acquired on the defensive side of the ball, knowing they did get Bear Alexander, they did get Anthony Lucas, they upgraded at linebacker, they did a variety of different things. To give up 28 points to San Jose State is, I think, reason for legitimate concern. And the way they did it, giving up a 3rd and 22 with just a horrendous play call.
That was terrible, yeah.
Just an absolutely horrendous play call. But then allowing what was a pretty slow running back to just kind of motor through the entire defense several times. It wasn't a ton of missed tackles. I think there were 6 in the game. But I think if you were eyeballing any kind of talent deficiency, I would say they looked a little light. I know they're bigger than last year. They still look a little light to me in the front 7. Generally, especially when you look at those linebackers, and the linebackers are not uber athletes. So maybe that's a concern. And then, corner maybe to an extent, but really it's, not being facetious anymore. That's a coordinator issue, man.
No, I think the play calling, he can get a little too cute when you have better players. You just do this. I'm curious to see. I would say overall, though, looking at the front 7, they rotated guys. It was like a scrimmage. They played a whole bunch of different dudes. Caleb Williams, you have your Heisman Trophy winner. 3 of the first 4 drives, he had a different offensive line. And it wasn't just one guy switching out. They pretty much looked at this as let's just. It's like a tryout. They were doing tryouts for different guys. I would say, and there's a lot of USC fans that are really upset. And I think. Yeah, if they struggle on defense for the rest of the year, it's the coordinator has to go. But I would say the talent does look a lot better. They did tackle better, and Cheva Cordero, I think he's a good quarterback. He's fast. He's a 6th-year guy. It's like when you get a experienced point guard in an NCAA tournament and they just make a run. The team's not that good, but you're having that 5th-year point guard. Sometimes that helps a lot. So it'll be curious to see what he does this week against Oregon State. If Oregon State just shuts them down, I think that's where you could look at USC's defense and go, that's a problem. Because I don't think you're going to learn a lot this week when USC plays Nevada because they're awful. But I'm still I think there was stuff left to be desired. Their secondary actually is a lot deeper, and I thought they didn't play that well. All the guys had a penalty. But I think the front 7, they just look a lot faster, bigger. They're not – I think they're still a little undersized. But Bear Alexander and Anthony Lucas were both starting in the game, and Lucas made a good stop on his very first play. So I think USC fans are jumping off buildings. I still think there's a chance they don't need to be great on defense. They just have to be better. I think they're better than what they were. But giving up 28 to San Jose State's not great. But San Jose State, that was the Mountain West preseason player of the year. Cordero's a good quarterback. So I don't know, but you can't give up a touchdown right before half. You can't allow a 3rd and 22. That's the same kind of crap that was happening last year. But
yeah, and that's kind of what my whole point is, that it's it lines up with last year much more than I think. I was expecting the defense to be from the jump pretty damn good, actually. I was picking the 31, but I was picking it because I figured, the offense might take a few minutes, might take a little while to get going. And so it might be, I wasn't expecting USC to score 56, my point is. But I was expecting them to shut down San Jose State a little bit better.
Yeah, they didn't.
And really. They didn't at all. But anyway, on the positive side, even with the offensive line, kind of just being a turnstile to figure out who's going to, be their main guys for the rest of the season. Caleb Williams was great. That play where there was the fumble San Jose
He
State
dribbled the snap.
No, and it's like, oh wow, this is gonna be a big negative play. And then he literally just picks up the ball and just chucks it downfield. And yeah, it was aided by the San Jose State DB just, getting his eyes completely lost in the backfield on the fumble. But still, I mean, that's incredible. And then this is a hard one for me because whenever I see one of these guys emerge for USC, it usually means dark portendings for UCLA. But
this is when you're like the whole recruiting actually matters part.
Yeah,
you're like, maybe it doesn't. Oh,
Zachariah Branch is the latest in a long line of guys who's just going to be a friggin' nightmare, like an absolute nightmare. Like the kick returning of an Adoree Jackson, but he looks like a game breaker wide receiver too, like a Marquise Lee. And he's not the same player. He's not as big, but good God, man. That's not what he's doing. What he did in game one is not fair. That's not playing the same sport as everyone else, and he should be forced into a different league, maybe the NFL within a couple of years.
We cover recruiting a lot, and then sometimes you're just like, there's a guy like Corey Foreman, and you're like, okay, he's just never really done that much. And you see Zachariah Branch, and I've covered him in high school. I've gone to Bishop Gorman. I've covered him in Hawaii. And you're like, this dude's like a freak, and he looks like he's a junior in college. So it's nice when it actually happens, and I don't know how much they're going to play him or whatever. They're using him in the offense right away. He catches a touchdown, and it's just sort of one of those things where a lot of people compare him to Reggie Bush or Tyreek Hill. He's a different size. He's not as big as Reggie, but he's built he's shorter. He's built.
I'd actually go more like a Deshaun Jackson almost.
A little bit, yeah. He was kind of slight though, I think, and Adoree was kind of slight. There's a thicker there's a thickness to him.
Yeah.
But at his kickoff return, the 96-yarder, it's like athletic confidence when you see him just sort of slowly going towards the line, watching and then go.
Yeah.
And to be able to go this way and turn, I think the stop and turn like Reggie could do, there was a lot of that where you can not lose any. If we're going this way, we have to go this way.
Yeah.
It's like turning a.
Now the good news,
big ship.
The good news is,
do it on a dime.
If he is the next Reggie Bush, there's really good news there for UCLA fans, because that means UCLA is going to have a better version of him their entire concurrent careers.
How is Maurice Drew better than Reggie Bush? Lindell White scored 52 touchdowns.
If you stuck Maurice Drew on those USC offenses, they never would have lost a single game.
Really, you think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, anyway, that's the week 0. Are you a big fan of, or you think that playing a game? Because right now, Stanford's going to play. Well, we're talking about Stanford playing Hawaii. Hawaii's already played. USC's already played. Oregon State's playing San Jose State. They've already played. Having a game under your belt. I kind of, Lincoln Riley talked about it today, where it's their second game in a row. You don't have any tape on the opponent, but I think it's much better to be having played already. Oregon State going to San Jose State, that might be a disadvantage just because San Jose State's already played.
I mean, I think it depends. I mean, if you can get out of that first game healthy and you are more of and I think for USC it makes a lot more sense because their offense is such a, finely oiled machine. We're just going to do what we do. We're not really Lincoln Riley's not sitting around saying, oh gosh, they run this sort of defense. So no, I'm running my system and you guys can go to hell. If you're that kind of offense, if you're that kind of coaching staff, then it totally makes sense. You want to play as many games as possible and get in a rhythm. If you're one of those, I would say more we're going to fit this key in this particular lock and turn it the right way, like a Chip Kelly, you want film. And so these opening games, it takes a while to get into a rhythm of the game planning part. And I think you don't necessarily want more versions of the same kind of opener, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. All right, well, let's get into our
Pac-12 Roundup.
It's not really a roundup. Do we do roundup before the picks? I think that's for just the games. It's been a while. We haven't done this for a while.
So we do our previews, our game previews. We do them about now.
We're going to do the previews, but I wasn't sure if we do do I play Pac-12 Roundup?
No, we do that when we're recapping games.
Okay.
But we didn't do that because we just were picking our power rankings as we were going.
I did play the Pac-12 Roundup before we did the USC game, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Look, we're all feeling things out. This is the beginning
again.
part of the season.
And we're doing this live, on YouTube for the first time.
Yeah.
We didn't do it last year for this, right?
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, we started live last year around this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Who
but
knows?
now we're over 1,000. We got like 1,300 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Which
Pretty
is
amazing.
crazy.
Pretty amazing.
And I think we have like 85 people watching us live right now.
It's-
85 people at 11:26 on the West Coast on a Thursday have nothing better to do than listen to us talk about Pac-12 football.
You know what else is happening on a Thursday?
What?
Some football, baby.
We got some football, baby. Love it. Let's get to our picks. First up, we've got
Utah Utes.
Taking on the Florida Gators. Go Gators!
do that thing.
Do-do-do-do. That I think I've said this before on the show, but that haunts my dreams from the 2007 and 2006 Final Fours.
Oh yeah.
When
Did
Florida-
UCLA win any of those or
No,
Oh,
no,
they did
no,
not?
no, no. They got their asses blasted
Do you
by
like wake
Florida
up
twice.
in a sweat? Like okay.
Yeah, occasionally. Cursing Ben Helen's name. All right, 5 p.m. on ESPN tonight. Florida traveling to Salt Lake City to take on these two Utes. Utah is currently, what did I put in the doc? Let's just go by what the doc says. Utah's
4.5?
Yeah, 4.5's fine. This says 5, but let's just go with the 4.5.
Yeah.
Utah's a 4.5 point favorite in Salt Lake City at Rice Eccles. The big news here is that Cam Rising is very unlikely to play.
Who's that?
Their quarterback.
For Florida?
For for Utah. And
Come on, Cam.
in his place, pig farmer Bryson Barnes is more than likely to get the nod as the starting quarterback. Pig farmer played last year, played pretty well at times. Doesn't really matter. Utah's defense I think, still exists. And Rice Eccles Stadium still exists, and it is still, I think, in Salt Lake. This will be the first time Florida has played a non-conference game outside of the state of Florida in 31 years. I was 5 years old, almost 6, when they last stepped foot out of the state of Florida for a non-conference game. We're all going to find out why. Utah's going to cover. They could cover playing you at quarterback in this game.
Wow.
Maybe not me, but they could cover playing you at quarterback.
I could sling it. Yeah, I'm going with the Utes also. I like that it dropped. It was like 6.5 or so, or 7. It dropped down with Cam Rising. I mean, there were some Utah fans that just wanted to move on from Cam Rising anyway. It's a little concerning, though, for the rest of the season. I think Utah's sort of like a middle-of-the-road SEC team. Utah should have beat them last year, didn't. Think they're going to come into Rice Eccles. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, yeah, good test. Great game tonight. I'm really excited to watch this one. But, yeah, I'll take the Utes also, minus the 4.5. I think they can win by 7-10 points, something like that. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited about this Utah team. But Kyle Whittingham's being a very there's some gamesmanship going on. Is Brent Keefe going to play? We're not sure. I mean, the fact that Cam's not playing in the first game, and he looked when we saw him at Pac-12 Media Day, he looked fine, right? It's not like okay, well he's not playing in week 1, but he's going to be ready for week 2. Like for me, this is like okay, when is he going to this might be middle of the season. I don't know. But it's like, is it a week or 2? Like, if you're not ready for Florida in week 1, are you going to be ready for Southern Utah, whoever you're playing in week 2?
That's been my thing on him for a while, is that
he's probably going to be out a little while. I mean, he tore his ACL in January, right? Like
a football season passes very quickly.
Yeah.
And a month goes by very quickly. And if you're not ready for this game, well, which game are you going to get ready for? Conference play now? Like, is that the next logical step?
Yeah. It would be like a month from now.
Are you really going to have your first game back be at Baylor? No.
Yeah.
So UCLA to open conference play? Maybe? I don't know. I mean, I think it's this could be a situation where we're watching Bryson Barnes start like 4 or 5 games.
It's okay. So Baylor and then was it Wichita State? Thanks to Andrew, by the way.
Weber State.
Weber
Almost
State,
certainly
sorry.
Weber State, right?
Sorry, Weber probably.
Wichita State plays basketball.
Yeah.
It's in Kansas.
Andrew sent us his eye chart, the schedule. It's on hard card stock too. Very cool.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Very nice. Thank you for doing. He sent me like a whole stack of them. So
did he mail these to you?
He mailed them to me. Yeah.
Look at that. I didn't get
Do you think
any
he
mail
showed
to
up at
me.
my house? No, because he knows I take care of stuff. So
Wow.
A lot of Utah fans in the chat, but Jim, not Utah fans, but people are picking Utah. Jim says Utah going down tonight. What?
It's going down. Jim's yelling timber. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So we're gonna do our picks against the spread. If it's an FCS school, we're not gonna pick, right? We'll just talk about the game a little bit.
No. Actually, I have a line on the ASU game now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, do your thing.
Well, you're like jumping ahead.
Look.
You put no line in there. If there's no line.
Yeah, there wasn't, but now there is.
All right. Next up.
Arizona State Sun Devils.
All right. This is on at 7 p.m. I believe it's on the Ghost Network, Pac-12 Network. Yeah?
Isn't this your job?
I don't know, man. Is it?
It is on Pac-12 Network, yes.
Okay. Southern Utah, what are they? They are the Thunderbirds.
Lukey's?
Caw! Caw! Southern Utah Thunderbirds.
That was loud.
Was it?
A little bit.
7 p.m., traveling to Tempe, Arizona to take on the embittered Arizona State Sun Devils, led by the unhinged Denny Killingham. They are 31-point favorites in this FCS matchup. That's a tough one for me because 31 last week. I went hard on San Jose State, but this is an FCS school.
Yeah.
This is Denny Killingham.
Freshman quarterback
Jaden Rashada. But are they going to want a confidence builder for Jaden Rashada? Are they going to throw it all over the place? But on the other hand, so we're now at, I think, 3 hands. Clock rules have changed. Are we going to get the high point totals, and are we going to hit those big spreads at the same rate that we used to? I'm going to go Southern Utah here. I think it's going to be a comfortable blowout for Arizona State, but 31 points in this new world, this brave new world of clock rules, I'm just not comfortable with that.
All right. So last year, Southern Utah lost to Utah 73-7.
But that was Utah.
That was Utah.
This is a rebuilding ASU team that might be quite bad.
Yeah. Overall, they were 5-6, 2-3 in conference. You know what? You are not trusting Denny Killingham.
Ryan is super comfortable going down 2 games after today.
I am very comfortable with Denny Killingham.
31. It's going to be your most hated number for this year.
31.
Yeah.
He's exciting.
Denny Killingham?
Yeah. I think they're going to
very angry fella.
Pile it on.
Very angry.
Angry?
He seems very angry all the time.
When you get these situations where could have made a bowl game, now you can't. I feel like this is going to be one of those. All right.
He was getting angry after practices and stuff. Just random practice.
Fiery dude.
It's random. It's like August 10th.
He's 33. He wasn't even born during 9/11.
I'm 33. I'm a multimillionaire. Everything is so bad.
It's pretty rough. Yeah. Give me the Sun Devils, man. I'm trying to I'm going to be positive. I think I did this a couple years ago. I was just picking the Pac-12 all over the place.
Yeah.
It did not go well.
No.
But this year probably won't go well either. But I'm taking Pac-12. I'm going Pac-12, the final season.
Yeah, baby. Let's do it.
What are they, the Thunderbirds?
Who knows?
Screw those Thunderbirds. Okay. Those are our Thursday games. We got a Friday game.
Stanford Cardinal.
Against the Hawaii Warriors. I don't know what that was. Oh, Warriors? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warriors.
Come on, Warriors.
Come on, play.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
8 p.m., CBS Sports Network, tomorrow, Friday. Stanford traveling to Hawaii, to Honolulu, to take on the Warriors. Stanford is a 3.5-point road favorite, which is insane. I would take Hawaii favored by 3.5 points. I will certainly take them as 3.5-point dogs at home. I don't know anything about Hawaii's program. Literally nothing. I do know that Stanford is probably going to be playing some walk-ons, some considerable snaps this year. That's almost certainly going to happen based on, garbage in, garbage out, just counting the numbers. I think this is going to be a classic, as Bill Connolly says, year 0 for Stanford as they wipe the slate clean for Troy Taylor's era there in Palo Alto.
Troy Taylor, man, come on.
Are you picking Stanford to cover
Dude,
3.5?
Stanford, Hawaii lost to Vanderbilt. Stanford's better version of Vanderbilt, right?
They lost to Vanderbilt by 7 on the road.
Right.
This is at home in Hawaii.
Well, it's a home game for Hawaii, but think about this. You know where Stanford's located, right?
Uh-huh.
Is it Stanford or Palo Alto? It used to be Palo Alto. I think they renamed the town Stanford.
I don't care.
They just bought it.
I just call I'm old enough now that I just call things what I used to know them as.
As Palo Alto? Okay.
Yeah, so it's Constantinople, not Istanbul.
It's pretty flight. It's a good, it's a 5-hour flight from, it's easy. If we're on the West Coast, if you want to go to Europe, it's tough. To get to Hawaii is not that bad. You know where Hawaii's coming from? Freaking Nashville. That's a longer flight. So Stanford's got a shorter trip to get to the stadium. I'm taking the Cardinal. Plus, I think the Zodiac Killer might know where I live, so I'm picking Stanford in this one. Even though in the preseason, I picked Hawaii to win in our picks. So just a week ago, I picked Hawaii to win.
Are you
outright.
trying to put yourself in a huge hole?
No, I'm just feeling it.
Wow, okay.
Stanford.
Jeez Louise.
Give me the Cards. The Cardinal.
The Cards. You just called them the Cards.
Yeah, they're the Cards.
How long have we been doing this show? Good God.
Stanford Cards. The trees. I'm taking trees.
Oh, my God.
Give me Stanford. So I like this. All right. Next up, we've got, I think,
something.
Colorado Buffaloes.
The Fighting Deons are traveling to Fort Worth to take on TCU Horned Frogs. Ribbit.
yeah.
TCU's ranked. They're number 17. This game's taking place at 9 a.m. on Big Fox. TCU in the dock I have as a 20.5 point favorite over the Fighting Deons. That's just too many points.
Yeah.
Give me Colorado. I think they're going to be exciting. I don't think they're going to win this football game.
No.
But I think they'll keep it close-ish and competitive-ish for long enough to cover the 20.5.
My gut says they're going to get creamed, but I'm taking Colorado.
Dude, the talent composite just came out.
Yeah.
The 247 talent composite. They're 5th in the league.
Yeah. It's just, there's a lot. I mean, I still feel they're going to have a bad year, but that's a lot of points. I think TCU's replacing a lot. They only got 10 starters back. Max Duggan was a huge part of what they do. They'll probably go on the road and lose by 14, but 20 and
Don't you feel it should be Max Dugan? There's an extra G
you
there.
love changing people's names.
But Dugan's a name. Duggan, not so much. Right?
Yeah. Hold on.
Am I wrong?
Maybe.
Sound off in the chat.
Pete Simpson says, let me put it up here. Can you just mash one of the team buttons repeatedly? Feeling the hype. So we could do
Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado Buffaloes.
Can you start it over in the middle of it?
No, it stops it.
Nah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a horny ribbit. Thank you, Brandon.
Horny. EVS says, nope, Colorado gets creamed. Go with your gut, Ryan. Sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Oops, that was the wrong one pulled up there.
Jesus.
There's a lot to do when you're hosting the show and having to do everything because your partner doesn't do a whole lot of stuff.
Wow, what can you possibly be describing? Something like the Peristyle podcast? Certainly not this one.
Yeah, that must be that.
I'm over here carrying this thing on my shoulders.
Holy crap.
I'm tired.
All right, next up.
Oregon Ducks.
This is a nooner on the Pac-12 network.
I like nooners.
Who doesn't? The Portland State Vikings. Uhtred, son of Uhtred. That was my impression of the character from The Last Kingdom.
Don't even know what
Yeah,
that is.
I should be an actor. Portland State traveling to number 15, Oregon. Let me see if I can get a line on this right now. Hang on. Oh, there still isn't one. There still isn't one. So
we're not picking this.
This is a no-liner. Oregon will win the
Yes.
football game. Bo Nix, Bodacious, which was plastered across all of the 247 sites, thanks to
the Bruins?
some great ad buying from the University of Oregon.
So we actually got paid by the University of Oregon.
Yeah, it was kind of nice
to like upset our subscribers.
Yeah, they were mildly upset.
But it just created more traffic, and we got more ads, and we got paid more. So
and frankly, it was bodacious for us.
So like we're like on the Nike payroll now. It looks like.
Yeah, we're doing well.
Yeah.
Also speaking of, hey, you right there. If you are not currently a subscriber to one of the 247 sites, currently running a 50% off deal for an annual subscription. So that means you would get the entire season all the way through to the very, very start of next year's season for, I think it's like $53 for the entire year.
Yeah, it's like $4.50 a month, which is like a cup of coffee.
So if you haven't already, sign up now. Because if you ever, so you're crazy, like obviously you're an insane person because you are like at 11:41 a.m. watching and listening to this, or you're listening to this in your free time, which is somehow a little bit even crazier. If you are doing that, you would be well served subscribing to one of these sites for whatever the team is that you prefer, because people go insane collectively during games, after games, before games, for the entire week, for the months surrounding the season on those message boards. So get in there, have some fun.
That's great. Yeah, we're got the promo going for a few more days. And the Paramount Plus thing is really cool too. If you want to just do the monthly, you can sign up and you'll get Paramount Plus right away. So the streaming service, to get a free streaming service, it's basically, I think it's $100 or something, $120 a year for Paramount Plus. You get half, $50, you get half of it. That's awesome. But you get Paramount Plus after the promo. But if you want to just do the monthly, you can sign up now and get Paramount Plus right away. So make sure you go check it out.
But anyway, stuff. Oregon is going to beat Portland State.
Yeah.
That's about all we have to say about that.
Yeah, that's not much else there. So
I feel like Oregon plays like 2 of these games a year where it's like there's too much going on concurrently that I'm not even going to watch that. So I always don't have a good impression of Oregon until like week 3.
It's tough. Like a couple years ago, they go on the road and beat Ohio State, which was great. Last year, they go on the road and get like absolutely boat raced by Georgia. So I mean, like, what did we learn from? We thought, is Oregon really good after 2 years ago? And it's like, yeah, they had a mixed bag. Last year, they ended up being better than what they looked like in that first week against Georgia.
Right.
But, whatever. All right. Next up, this got #1 team in our power rankings.
Washington Huskies.
All right. 12:30 ABC, the Boise State Broncos. That was my Stampede. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was it good?
That was pretty good.
Okay. Taking on...
For you.
Yeah. Taking on the Washington Huskies. Washington, this is in Seattle at Husky Stadium. Beautiful stadium. On ABC, 12:30. Washington's a 2-touchdown favorite, even, 14 points. It's Penix. Penix is going to, I think, make it rain all over Boise State. I think their faces are going to be turned up to the sky, watching Penix just rain balls on them. So, with that being said...
Will they be on their knees begging for mercy?
I think at some point in the game they may. But I don't think he will relent. So I think given that information, I'm going to have to go with Washington here.
I'm with you, too, on this one. I like UW. Boise State, obviously, solid team. I feel like this is one of those things where they're going to score a lot of points. Washington secondaries, there's some questions there, but the offense should be elite. Great receivers. Obviously, Michael Penix is a super stud. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think the 14 points...
Do we know if he's gotten thicker in the offseason? Has he gained some
his
mass?
girth?
Has he gotten girthier? Is
I
he
don't know.
better able to sustain injury, and keep himself upright? And
I don't know. We have to check it with Fetters about that and see.
Yeah. Because you also, you want him to be upright. You don't necessarily want him to be too stiff.
Too stiff is bad?
Yeah.
You want okay.
You could just sustain injury. You want it you want him to be upright, but not too stiff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we're both taking Washington in this one, 14 points. I I could see it being close sort of early on and then kind of go with it from there. So let's go Huskies, and we'll move on to the next one. We've got
California Golden Bears.
Simply the dumbest game that anyone is playing in week one. At 1 p.m. on ESPNU, Cal is traveling to North Texas, the Mean Green. What is a Mean Green?
I'm not big on colors as far as like mascots.
Is it just like an angry Irish person? Don't you steal me pot of gold? I don't know. That wasn't very good.
That's okay.
It was all right. It wasn't great.
Racist, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'm half, so I can
I'm a quarter.
I can handle that one.
Yeah.
I can take that one. North Texas Mean Green. This is a very stupid game. Why is Cal on the road playing at North Texas?
I mean, it's the Pac-12.
When did this happen and why? That's what I want to know. That's all I want to know about this game. I think Cal's going to be terrible this year. They're favored somehow at North Texas by 6.5. I'm taking North Texas to win. No doubt about it.
Okay.
In my mind. I'm kind of insane. I'm kind of looking at what you just put down for your pick, and I'm unable to finish my thoughts because I'm so baffled by what it is you are doing.
I'm taking Cal.
Jesus.
The sturdy Golden Bears. To be honest, last night was texting with a staffer I know over at Cal.
Uh-huh.
There was some confidence there.
Uh-huh.
There's confidence.
Uh-huh.
I'm going with it. Now,
was the staffer Justin Wilcox?
It was not. I don't know if I ever saw. I might have it from his USC days. I'm not sure. But no, one of the staffers. There's some quiet confidence going on there. The quarterback should be pretty dynamic.
Uh-huh.
I'm going with his gut. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, if he's wrong and I get burned, I will never pick Cal the rest of the season. But I'm going with Cal. They're a Pac-12 team for now. This is a Power 5 team against the Green Wave or North whatever.
The Mean Green.
North Green Wave, Texas.
Mean Green.
Yeah, them. Who are they? This is Cal.
They're the team that's going to beat Cal's ass on Saturday. Like, they might lose by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah.
Cal. We're talking about Cal. Remember when Jackson was talking about Cal? Go back to that feeling.
Yeah, I've cleansed that feeling off. What did I pick? Hold on. Let me tell you what I picked Cal to do.
Oh my God.
Which probably wasn't good. I had them winning this game. I have them beating North Texas and Idaho and losing to Auburn in the middle. And then beating I have them 3-9 this year. But this is going to be one of those wins.
So UCLA guy did a great, this is kind of a side note about Cal. He did a great edit of the Godfather 2 scene where Godfather 1, sorry. Where Michael is telling Fredo that he's a piece of shit and he's disowned him as a brother.
Yeah.
And it's just got Cal superimposed on Fredo and UCLA superimposed on Michael. It's very good.
Oh.
Recommend finding it on my Twitter.
Check it out. UCLA stole their fight song too, so I think they're going to be a little anger there.
Yeah, made it.
And this is one of the farewell tour, right?
Farewell.
And we still don't know about the ACC stuff. We didn't mention that at the top, but apparently there's still stuff going on.
I'm not buying any of that, by the way.
You don't think that's a thing?
It makes no goddamn sense to anybody, including anybody in the ACC. I have no idea why that's happening.
So what I've read recently would be that the ACC, so their deal is locked in until 2036, right? That's terrible. But if they added Cal, Stanford, and SMU, it'll add 30-something million for each school. So that means the pool that the ACC gets now is at $100 million more, say. So they're $100 million more because you add these three schools. SMU won't take anything, and then Cal and Stanford would take a reduced rate, and I've seen it as low as 30%, which would leave $70 million over or something like that for the rest.
You are just talking about money.
Right.
But it's
that's all this has been about.
But that's not all. That's a big part of it, but it's not all. This is insane for those schools. It's insane for Cal. Maybe not insane for Stanford, but it is insane for Cal.
Jim says the ACC would get $72 million. Then you could keep like Clemson and Florida State happy by saying, okay, you get more. The better you do in athletics, the more money you're going to get. So I think that's sort of why this is even a thing.
It's insane. Anyway,
I think it's insane.
We've delved too far.
I'd rather see those 4 teams kind of build on that and whatever. But
yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Next up, that was Cal. Man, David got that one wrong so bad. Here we go.
USC Trojans.
The Nevada Wolfpack. Roof! I've only got a dog. I don't have a wolf. Like a howl. Howl!
Wolfpack, 2 words.
Was that good? Was that a good
That's
howl?
pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty solid. It actually turned out better than I thought. 3:30 on the Pac-12 network. Nevada traveling to the Coliseum, number 6 USC. My nephew is starting at Nevada.
Who's your nephew?
He's just starting at Nevada. He's my nephew. This
Does he
year.
have a name?
He's not playing on the team. He's just starting at the university.
Oh, okay.
USC is favored by 38 points. I'm going to have to go with Nevada out of brand loyalty here.
Nice.
Out of family loyalty. I don't feel good about this one though, because I think Nevada is going to be terrible this year.
Yeah,
like terrible in a way that San Jose State was not. And I think USC could easily cover this, but got to go brand loyalty. Nevada it is.
All right, I'm taking USC in this one. Doing a deep dive into Nevada. Now, Nevada does have a bunch of Pac-12 players. You remember a guy named Sean Dollars?
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be the starting running back.
Okay.
Former Oregon player. John Jackson III. He's going to be one of their wide receivers coming over from USC. They got some other Pac-12 players around. A few Oregon players, I think. They were 2-10 last year. They did add some guys in the portal, but here's the thing: like their offensive line was awful last year, and it didn't really get any better. And their secondary was bad, and didn't really get any better. So I feel like USC is just going to score. If Miller Moss or Malachi Nelson's a quarterback, they're going to score a lot of points. And I feel like this defensive line was very active. They had like 6 tackles for loss against San Jose State. They just couldn't sack Cordero. Brendan Lewis, do you remember him?
Yes, the great Brendan Lewis.
He's the quarterback.
Oh, can I revise?
You cannot. So in 2021, when USC was 4-8 and awful and had an interim coach, they went on the road to Colorado and beat Brendan Lewis badly with, Dante Williams as the head coach. He was like 10 of 17, threw a pick, got sacked like 6 times or something, 5 times. I think they're just going to sack the crap out of him. I think Nevada's starting to build, but I feel like this is going to be a bloodbath. It's just a different. You're talking about a team that last week that was like going to fight for the Mountain West title and has one of the best players in the conference. To this, that they've added some pieces, but bad secondary, bad offensive line. I think USC is going to score a lot of points. So the over/under is like in the 60s. I'm going to take the over, and I'll take USC minus 38.
All right.
So we'll see. Was wrong last week, so probably wrong again this week, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, kind of always wrong, but it's okay.
This one we've got
Washington State Cougars.
But I'm going to play this one because
Washington State Cougars.
I still have a bad taste in my mouth from last year. So
yeah, this one's 4 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. Second CBS Sports Network game of the weekend for the Pac-12. Washington State traveling to the Colorado State Rams. Did that work?
If you're listening, he headbutted his microphone. He's ramming the microphone with his forehead.
Huge head. Like
huge
massive,
forehead.
Massive head. And a 5 head.
You do have a big head.
Yeah. The 5 head is a relatively new development. The big head has been there for a long time.
The hair kind of going.
Yeah. The isolated German army on the Eastern Front in World War I. Anyway, Washington State is traveling to Colorado State.
Yes.
To take on The Rams. This is in Fort Collins, if you wanted to know where Colorado State is. Washington State is an 11-point road favorite. I'm going to take the Rams, sight unseen. Don't know anything about them. But this feels like I'd have to believe a lot more in the development of Cam Ward to take him covering 11 on the road. So, no, I'm going to go Colorado State.
Here's a little thing. Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell left and was the first-year head coach last year. He came from, do you know where?
Nevada, baby.
He did. So
former UCLA offensive coordinator for 1 year, Jay Norvell.
Little connection there. So to see what Cam Ward was doing against Fresno State, that's the last thing I'm seeing. I've been picking mostly Pac-12 teams. I am not picking Washington State in this one. Another weird road game. I don't think Colorado State's going to be that good. But it's 11 points is a lot. I could see, Washington State winning by 10 or 7 or something like that, but we'll see. Maybe they come out and they're going to be like gangbusters. They also have like a 17-year-old calling plays for them that's never done that before, I believe. Is that right? Their offensive coordinator is literally 25 years old or
something like
that. Okay. Never called plays before. Unless I'm mixing that up with somebody else. But yes, give me Colorado State in this one, and we'll see how that goes. All right. We got another FCS games. We've got
Arizona Wildcats
taking on the Northern Arizona. What are yous? You are the Lumberjacks.
I'm a lumberjack, and I'm okay.
What do Lumberjacks say? What do they say? They say the thing when they're not
timber.
Timber. Thank you. Wow,
that's the word you were looking for.
Struggle, big struggle. I was like, heave ho? No, that's not right. Northern Arizona, traveling to Arizona. Tough trip. Flagstaff down to Tucson. Tough one. 7 p.m. on the Pac-12 network. We don't have a line on this game. Arizona will win the football game. They're a lot better than they were a couple years ago. Yeah, I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, that's a FCS school.
Yeah.
Arizona lost a couple years ago to, was it Northern Arizona or something? Was it?
Yeah. That was the reference I made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not this year. Should be explosive offense. A lot of offense production coming back. Even losing Dorian Singer to USC, just a lot of offensive production coming back with Jaden DeLaura. He can make mistakes, but against a team like this, no. I think he's going to light up the scoreboard, and they'll win by a ton. We don't have a line on this game, so we won't be picking it. All right, We got 2 games left. David Woods. The Chip Kelly tour begins going into the Big Ten. We got
UCLA Bruins.
7:30 on ESPN. The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Did I blow it out?
Little. That's okay.
Okay.
They are a rooster or some shit?
Yeah. It's like a fancy rooster.
Yeah.
Traveling to UCLA in Pasadena. UCLA is a 14.5-point favorite. Let me give you the skinny on this whole thing because I don't know yet whether I'm going to pick them to cover, and I'm hoping to talk it through here.
You should. Okay.
Because I'm still writing.
They've been pretty bad at these games.
Yeah.
Right.
And just behind the scenes, I'm still writing the preview, which will be coming out, I don't know, in a couple of hours, and I haven't yet done my score prediction. So Coastal Carolina lost their head coach, Jamie Chadwell, who was for lack of a better word, the Chad. He was the straw that stirred the drink, so to speak. Has this really unique offensive system. It was a 2-back set, did a lot of spread option type stuff. It was a lot of fun. They brought in something called a Tim Beck. He was, I believe, the offensive coordinator for basically every middle of the road offense you can imagine for the last 12 years. He's like a modern day Noel Mazzoni. He runs his little short passing spread system wherever he goes, and it does fine. He was at NC State most recently. Before that, he was at Texas with Tom Herman. Before that, he was the co-offensive coordinator with Herman at Ohio State. And before that, he was at Nebraska with Bo Pelini. Okay. But they're coming into this, and he's also brought along an offensive coordinator in Travis Trickett, who is very well thought of. He was the South Florida offensive coordinator last year. the reason I say all this is that Coastal Carolina, the reason they've been very good now for a few years in their group of five little world is because of their offense.
Yeah.
They had this crazy offense that Jamie Chadwell run, and it's not going to be the same. They're going to be running something like a pro-style air raid, the same garbage everyone else is running these days. But they do return a lot. Like they return Grayson McCall, who's like a really good quarterback. They return like all their receivers, all their running backs, most of their offensive line. Like the offense should be pretty good. Defense is trash. It was trash last year. They'll be trash again. Secondary did not improve. They brought in Craig Nivar, who you're probably familiar with from his USC days.
Oh, yeah. I like him.
He's a safeties coach through and through. Has been a co-DC at some levels, but never.
He's the DC now?
Yeah, he's the DC.
Oh, okay.
So
he was at like Texas or something.
Yeah. So a lot of prefacing to say, my instinct, my gut is that Coastal Carolina is going to be not very great. Like they're not going to be what they've been the last 3 years because they brought in a something called a Tim Beck.
We have like at least one voicemail that you're disparaging marks towards the Chanticleers or whatever. We're gonna have to play those later.
But anyway, so I don't know what to expect about that. But here's the thing, because given all of that, I would no doubt pick UCLA to cover 14.5. But here's the thing: we already have substantial evidence that this is a Chip Kelly fuck around game. And do you know how we know that? He's going to play 3 different quarterbacks in this football game. That could go one of 2 ways. They're all really good, and they all, combine to blow this team out. Or one of them looks kind of shabby, one of them looks okay, one of them has a couple good moments, but none of them get in a rhythm because they're playing 3 of them in a game that's going to be about 5 plays fewer than games were last year. So all that said, I think I'm going Coastal Carolina to cover. I think it's going to be, though, like 38-24. Like I just don't like the half point. If this was 13.5, probably take UCLA. 14.5, I'm going to go Coastal Carolina.
All right, I'm taking the Bruins, although yet another Duck fan points out Chip treats this as a non-con, as preseason, that they don't count, right? Like that's what it kind of looks like for Chip Kelly. I feel like this is going to be one of those things, though, like you said, that coaching turnover, long trip west. I feel like this is the one that UCLA sort of just like.
If they blow them out, I'm not going to be surprised. Like that would totally make sense, and it fits all my priors, which is if you've got a really good offensive system, and then you replace him with just some bullshit, like you replace him with, we're going to just run like an air raid with our guy who's been great running this like boutique offense for so many years, you're going to take a major step back.
Yeah.
You just are. It's kind of like the Nebraska thing when they initially went from the triple option to, Bill Callahan. It's like, suddenly you're not going to be very good. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's more what Chip Kelly is deciding to do with this game, which is play 3 quarterbacks, which can only be an indication of the different ways he's going to mess around in this one. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see like wholesale line changes with the offensive line like USC was doing.
Yes.
So with all that, I don't think they're poised to cover.
Yeah. EVS chimed in and said, don't feel good about it because of the 3 quarterback chip fuck around, but I'm taking my Bruins. I'm with you, EVS. I'm going mostly Pac-12 throughout this, and like against what my gut would be saying for a lot of these games. Like Dave could have like a 6-game lead or something after this first week, which would be pretty bad. But if he doesn't, he'll be frustrated because he'll be like, man, I felt good about these picks and you were wrong.
And then I'll be on tilt.
That would be great. I've kind of put you on tilt. All right, we got one last one. Your beloved
Oregon State Beavers
against my equally beloved San Jose State Spartans.
Yes. Chevron Cordero.
This is Sparta. 12:30 p.m. CBS on Sunday. Number 18 Oregon State.
Oh yeah, this is a Sunday game.
Traveling to San Jose.
Another road game for like one of the better teams in the Pac-12. Like, what are you thinking?
This is an insane line to me. It's Oregon State favored by 16.5.
Yeah.
Line odds makers not familiar with Oregon State's work on the road, I guess. Didn't watch San Jose State last week. Because, they lost by 28, but they looked like they had a pulse. I'm taking San Jose State, no questions asked.
Me too. Like, it's one of those things where I do think the quarterback's legit, He's a sixth-year player. This is a road game. Oregon State hasn't been as good on the road. I feel like USC ran the ball pretty well, and you're going to see Damian Martinez get a lot of yards and stuff. But for DJ Ungulele, it's his first game.
Crush that.
DJ Ungulele, I believe is what they're saying.
You nailed it.
It's changed. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of points where Oregon State's probably going to go in and win. But I think even Willen was talking about upset alert for this one. So that's just a lot. I think it's great for the conference if Oregon State goes in there and just boat races them on the road. I think that's great. But they've already played a game too. So there's some seasoning there. Yeah, I think there's going to be a tough situation to win by 17 points. So I will go San Jose State.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. That's what we got for our Pac-12 previews. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? We'll come back and we'll do we'll do questions and talk about anything else.
That sounds magical.
Back in a minute. We're back here on the podcast of Champions. It's funny. Last week, so I put a note down where our breaks are because I have to when I edit the show and put it up. It was at 106 last week. It was 105 this week. So right about the same time.
We're crushing it.
Yeah. Remind everyone the survival pool picks are there. We tweeted it out. I will put it in on Pac-12 podcast.com website. We need to get you to enter your picks. If you're watching us live, I did put it. Go back in the chat. Especially if you want ASU's playing tonight. That you're probably not picking Utah tonight, but you might pick ASU. So get that in. If you don't send it in before kickoff, you can't pick that team. So you can't send it tomorrow. Arizona State wins, and you say, I'm going to pick ASU. So just get it in there before whatever game you want to pick. And you need to get it in the week one. You can't join in week two. This is survival. You have to pick every week and get it correct. So get in there. David, who's your pick? I'm picking ASU.
I think I picked ASU.
You think?
Yeah, I did it a while ago now.
Oh, you did? Okay.
By that I mean 2 days ago, but that's a while when you have small children starting school.
Oh,
Let's see. Yeah, I picked ASU.
Yet another Duck fan's been very active in the chat. Didn't stop the clock on first down. Pace of play is up. What did you think about the first week? So there was probably a fewer plays in the USC San Jose State game.
It was pleasant for me in the San Jose State game because I think if there had been 5 more plays, I probably would not have covered my my 31.
Maybe not.
I don't know. I didn't.
They still had a 15-minute delay for a review, which is that was terrible.
I think there is going to be a noticeable effect. I noticed it a little bit, but I was watching the USC game kind of on my phone while doing other stuff, so it wasn't as big a deal. But when I'm watching on Saturday or tonight, when I'm really just sitting down and watching it, I mean, I think I'm against it. I think it's stupid. It's more NFLization of the product, which I don't think anybody was clamoring for less football.
No.
And that's the end result is we're going to get less football, but no fewer commercials. So it's just going to be a sport that was already 9 total minutes of actual action in a 3.5 hour block is now going to be those, in that 3 hour and 15-minute block, it's going to be 8 minutes of action. It's what did we actually gain here?
All right. We got some voicemails. I think we got to start with I've called them out. If you ever want to call a serial killer out, maybe that's not a smart thing to do, but we wanted to hear from the Zodiac killer, and we did. So here you go.
Well. Hello, Brian. Hello, Sith Lord Dave. Word on the street is you've been asking after me. That's right, it's me, this resident Stanford fan. Yeah, that's right. And once again, expectations for the Cardinal could not be lower. One last ride for the old once and mighty Pac-12 champions. Who killed the Pac-12, you ask? You think Larry Scott had something to do with it? A hack. You think it was the Pac-12 presidents? Those bumbling Oompa Loompas couldn't tie their own shoes. You think Kalashnikov did it? I left space for the Kalashnikov sound effect. Kalashnikov? You think he did it? A pawn. That's right. I killed the Pac-12. And you know why I killed the Pac-12? Because if the smartest, toughest young men on earth can't compete for a conference championship, then there will be no Pac-12. Watch it burn. One more time. Music's got me feeling so free. I want to celebrate with David's tweet. One more. Oh, and one more thing. Take the over on the Stanford Cardinal boys. Troy Taylor, he's playing chess. He's making in-game adjustments. He's recruiting. He's got the whole Wisconsin defensive staff, the young part, the up-and-coming part, the part with ideas. Oh, yeah. Take the over, boys. Because you heard it here. 5 wins. 5. One more time.
Thank you, Zodiac Killer.
Oh my God!
So
there wasn't
killed the Pac-12.
there wasn't a baby screaming in the background this time. There usually is.
Well, because he just murdered the mom and the baby screaming or something, right?
Oh man, yeah, I would not take the Zodiac Killer's advice. Stanford is not going to win 5 games this year.
No. Yeah. Whatever we do for we have to have him calling in still, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay. Do you want to let's do a...
All right, where do we
email.
start?
I
Where do
think
we
it's
start
the
this
flogging Molly might be the first one. It's like a series of emails, though.
From Tom?
Yeah.
Is that our first one? Okay,
I think so.
All right, thank you, Ryan and David Woods, for giving me my fix of off-season football and shenanigans. I think Dropkick Murphys are good, very good, but they lean too much into the Boston part of Irish for my taste. I first saw Flogging Molly at a free lunchtime show out in front of Ackerman around 20-ish years ago, and I've been a diehard fan ever since. If I was a Pac-12 coach and you shoved a mic in my face to ask me my favorite band, yeah, I'd have a good think. It might not be them. It's probably Faith No More, Bister Bungle, and anything Mike Patton ever touched, but Flogging Molly is right up there. Good call. I know you took your sweet time at UCLA, Dave, and I'd like to think you were there in that same lunchtime crowd. Loved your guys' preview picks, and I can't wait for fight songs on the podcast. I was not, but I wasn't too far distant from that.
Yeah.
And then he asked me if I was there, and I was not. He asked me if I was there for Digital Underground. I was not. And he would like you to throw out some more Yacht Rock recommendations.
Oh, Yacht Rock ones?
Mm-hmm.
Let me put, yeah. I mean, just play. So the Spotify Yacht Rock playlist is epic. Go on there. There's really good stuff like Christopher Cross. What's the one I'm blanking on? It's like Sail Away is really good. There's a whole bunch of great songs on there. I'll pull up the after we do this voice. I'll pull up some songs after we do this voicemail, and then
I don't think we need to do that.
You don't want some?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Steal Away.
Yeah, okay.
Why don't we steal away? That's one of the great ones too. Good one. Okay,
great. Thanks for that.
Let's go to this voicemail. And I think this was one that he left like a 3-minute voicemail, got cut off, and then he left like a minute 50 voicemail. I'm only gonna play the minute 51. I didn't go back and listen to the whole so I think it's like a shorter version of what his first one was. If it's just adding on, we're not playing the first part. But anyway, here you go, Dave.
Brian, Steve, I got cut off. It's embarrassing, but I'm back. As I was saying, Dave, the faceplant's coming. Right when Dave gets excited. Dave's excited now, which means the faceplant's coming sooner than expected, which also means the solo post-game broadcast with a devastated, broken David Woods is coming sooner than any of us expected.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so exciting. And so I'm just calling to make a prediction. Because Dave is already a believer in this Bruin team, it gives me great confidence. Put all your money down. Grayson McCall, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, they're coming to Pasadena. They're going to play in front of literally dozens of people who probably bought like $40 worth of groceries at Ralph's earlier in the week and were given some tickets they didn't know what for, but they're checking it out. Anyway, those people are going to witness Grayson McCall and the Chanticleers shock the world. And then we're going to get that wonderful post-game broadcast with a broken, devastated, battered David Woods. And I just can't wait. So that's all I got for you guys. Except, Dave, you're 100% correct on Denny Killingham and his musical taste. That's an answer a serial killer would give. Train is your favorite band. What's his favorite TV show ever? Caroline in the City? It's like, it's an answer that's scary, it's dangerous, and the man shouldn't be allowed to be around young people. So, anyway, have a great day, guys. Love you. Bye.
That's a pretty good one.
Who was that from?
I don't remember.
That was great. Call more.
Yeah, but he left like a 3-minute version. I don't think he's not self-editing much yet.
Oh, that was incredible.
Speaking of editing, we did. Mackay sent us. We have 2 different requests for. They want us to do TikTok editing. I'm like, I got so much going on right now. It'd be cool, like if we had our own TikTok thing, but we don't. Like, David's not going to do it.
This. Okay, you have an old man's idea of what a spam email looks like. This is a spam email.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It says, "Dear Ryan and David." Like,
yeah.
It's,
I hope. Okay, I'm going to read it for everyone out there. I hope this message finds you well. I've had the chance to listen to your captivating podcast, and it occurred to me that it might be a fantastic idea to bring your content to a growing visual platform like TikTok. Just from that line alone.
all right, maybe it's. Okay.
Do you have any? You know?
But
you
it's
know?
like,
Does he know?
But
no,
your
he
name,
doesn't.
But your name is on. Like, this is someone that I think has actually listened to the show.
No,
like,
no way.
I mean, how would he even know that my name is on? Your name is on this email.
No chance.
All right. Whatever. Old guy back east. This is from Daniel, Dr. Daniel, actually. The podcast enlightens and entertains, so please don't change a thing. I never miss an episode, but would not write except for being shamed into it. Feel better now?
This is very nice, but we want this on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, like.
I mean, it's a very nice email.
It is.
Thank you, Daniel.
But we want this to be your review on
Dr.
Apple.
Hatfield, actually. Let's throw him some respect.
Yeah. We also got one from Jim. He says Pac-12 country musical taste, or coach musical taste, Matt Kearney. Is that the guy? How you say his name? So he says, I love the podcast and thought the coach music preferences was hilarious. I found it extremely curious that Matt Kearney is Troy Taylor's and not Chip Kelly's favorite, with the following song written shortly before Chip left for the NFL. So when there's a video, we're not going to play it obviously, but
he's from Eugene is the joke.
He's wearing like Oregon gear. He sings a song, it's actually kind of nice sounding song that, Chip don't leave before you get a chip and stuff like, for a championship and stuff like that. It was kind of funny. And they said he also wrote the following sappy ode to Oregon that is played on odds and scoreboards before the second quarter of every game. Maybe he should have been Land Danning's favorite, and I agree. I'm sure you're going to kick out of these. Yeah, so he's a huge Oregon guy. So why is Troy Taylor picking him as his favorite?
What's going on, guys? Who thought of these picks?
Brett McMurphy needs to I need a deep dive into this because this was terrible.
I need a whole thing, a story about this story.
Because this is easy.
Making of.
Land Danning, pick Matt Kearney. He's the guy that you're playing his song on your scoreboard. Yeah. That's a fail.
All right. You also got. Do you think this one's a real one? Did you click on the attachment?
No, I did not click on it. I should have deleted it.
Yeah, you should have downloaded it. See if your computer can withstand whatever that powerful thing is. This is from Frank in Sacramento.
Okay.
Here's why Pac-12 presidents stink. A lot has been made about the Pac-12 presidents doing nothing while Larry Scott and George Kliavkoff ruined the conference. True, but why? Pac-12 presidents have more to worry about than football. Stanford has more billionaire alumni to schmooze for donations than all of the SEC combined. USC and UCLA get more federal research money than all of the Big 12 combined. Recruitment of high-profile professors and deans take up large amount of Pac-12 presidents' time. The Cal president has worked to maintain a top rating and a diverse student body, even though California got rid of affirmative action 20 years ago. The SEC, the Big 12 for sure, and the ACC and Big 10 to a lesser extent can delegate many of these presidential tasks while they stay on top of football. Remember, back in Oklahoma, after then-University President Dr. George L. Cross found himself defending a budget request at the state legislature's Appropriations Committee, he was asked by one senator, yes, that's all well and good, but what kind of football team are we going to have this year? Dr. Cross's reply, we want to build a university our football team can be proud of. Frank in Sacramento.
Okay.
Yep, that was an email.
That was an email we got. All right, let's go. This is another. I guess I didn't see your tweets about. You must have been bashing.
Me?
Yeah, doesn't sound like you.
I don't think I've ever
And you're
bashed anything
trolling
or anyone.
I love when I get the text from David, like, "Here's my latest troll," and he's like, "I got a big one," and it's like Petros like replied to you, but it wasn't like it was kind of a weird reply.
Well, so
And then you had the Oregon fans replying.
So
to you.
I dropped a little light Alex Grinch trolling, but as always, I like to layer my trolls. So there's like a layer of talking bad about USC fans for being negative, and then there's a layer of Alex Grinch is really good, and then there's the
Lincoln Riley
the
got a
pièce
lead
de
one.
resistance was Lincoln Riley going to the NFL and Alex Grinch replacing it.
Yes.
All in a single tweet. I thought it was well crafted, nice layered, multi-layered, a little, like a sandwich with a lot of, different things on it. Tastes good.
Yeah.
So I sent it to Ryan and I just said, I'm going fishing. See what I catch. And then the next morning, Petros clearly, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, clearly didn't read it in full, didn't understand the troll at some level, just responds because I included a line, Alex Grinch gave up fewer than 30 points against an FBS opponent. And he said, well, USC's never played an FCS team. And I'm like,
Yeah, that was a weird one.
yeah, well, he didn't get it, but I caught a fish, Petros was then a fish for that.
Gotcha.
troll. Yeah.
And then you had a duck fish.
Oh my God, the Duck fan. So Oregon fans, come get your boys. The number of Oregon, I swear to God, I think it actually eclipsed the number of USC fans who were legitimately trolled by this tweet. I think Oregon fans were like,
Why
"What
were
are
they-
you? Are you a dumbass? What's wrong with you?" And it's like before you
First of
sit
all,
there,
yes.
yes, but before you sit there and think, "Wow, everyone around me is stupid," maybe think, "Is there something here I'm not getting? Is there some little bit of this that I'm not understanding?" But no, not Oregon fan, not ever.
No. All right. Let's see. Let me get. Should we do a voicemail? You just did an email. Yeah, do a voicemail. Here you go. Oh, yeah.
yeah. Were you going to do that voicemail?
I was doing it. I was setting it up, and then we got sidetracked because that never happens to us. But here we go.
It never happens.
Hi, this question is for Dave. Dave, you mentioned on Twitter the other day that Coastal Carolina is coached by somebody called a Tim Beck. This sparked some curiosity in me, so I tried Googling Tim Beck. It provided me no clarity. I'm going through the page right now, and some of the results include a Wikipedia page for a Tim Beck, American football born 1964, another Wikipedia page for a Tim Beck, American football born 1966, also some various pages for Tim Becks from Coastal Carolina, University of Texas, New Mexico State, NC State. I can go on and on. The purpose of this call is to inquire to you, Dave, whether you've made any progress figuring out what a Tim Beck is. I would like to know what kind of organism a Tim Beck is, human or otherwise, that will be roaming the sidelines this Saturday at the Rose Bowl. Is a Tim Beck a different type of rooster, like their mascot? I don't know. Any insight you can provide regarding this, what it means for UCLA's game, and on Saturday, that would be much appreciated. Thank you very much. Fight on.
The voicemails today have just been stellar.
They're really good.
Absolutely stellar. I'm loving it.
We're getting some spams in the chat again.
Yeah,
too.
I'm trying to edit as we go.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah. A great voicemail. I have not yet determined what a Tim Beck is. Clearly there was a cloning operation of some sort. I do not know whether, we'll have to see. It certainly appears humanoid, judging by pictures and whatever video evidence I can find. But it's impossible to tell whether that multimedia has been doctored in some way.
Okay.
There have been many Tim Becks, multiple Tim Becks. So
Was Tim Beck one of the longtime baseball announcers?
Tim Beck feels like he was a longtime baseball announcer.
Maybe.
I feel like Tim Becks have existed throughout the centuries, throughout the ages, always there providing some level of mediocrity in some form or another.
Yeah, there was Adam, Eve, and then Tim Beck was next. Is that right?
There's just an overflowing of Tim Becks. I think when Adam and Eve were exploring at the beginning, there was just a cornucopia full of not as of yet activated Tim Becks.
Little known chapter of the Bible where they went for a threesome. Is that where you're? Well, I'm gonna get like struck by lightning or something. All right, let's move on. Robin Seattle wrote in. His question's about LA sports bars. Gentlemen, I'm looking for some advice on where I should watch the Washington versus Boise State game on September 2nd. I'll be attending a wedding near Lake Arrowhead on Friday. That's not LA. September 1st. The game is at 12:30 on the 2nd. As a former host of the Washington alumni watch parties in Minneapolis, I try to attend official watch parties whenever possible. However, the UW watch party is at Legends Sports Bar in Long Beach. See, that's Los Angeles. So my current plan is to attend my buddy's wedding, wake up, and make the long drive from Lake Arrowhead to Long Beach to watch the game by the 12:30 kickoff. I've been to LA quite a few times. I understand that's one hell of a drive at any time, let alone the morning after a wedding. I'm also told that Legends is a great sports bar with some cool history. Please talk me into or out of this plan. If this is trying way too hard, where else should I go that wouldn't take me all the way to Long Beach? Any cool spots you would recommend up in the mountains or at least closer to where I'll be? Thanks for the help, and go Dogs, Rob in Seattle.
So I've got no feel for sports bars in Lake Arrowhead or Big Bear or anywhere in there. And then if you're going down the mountain, you're like basically in like Riverside or San Bernardino. And you could just go find a bar to watch the game, but why would you do that? I think your plan is sound. I mean, it's Saturday morning. It's going to be to Long Beach minimum, probably hour and 40 minutes down from Lake Arrowhead. But what else are you going to do? You're down here for a wedding. Go watch the game with some actual fans of your team. I think that seems like a sound plan.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not super.
And Legends is cool. It's fine.
Yeah. Just knowing that that's where they're going to be, or I'd go over to Dogman, and maybe there is a smaller group that's somewhere in the mountains. But
I think you're down in LA. Go drive into the more LA part of things and go to that sports bar. It'll be fun. Have a good time. Get a good lunch.
Five of a Kind Media says, I'm going to hell with that bit, and you're all coming with me. So Dennis Leary. Good. So if I go to hell for that bit, the whole podcast crew is going with me. So.
Yeah. Right. This is from the What's Brewing show.
Oh, okay.
What's the better?
Jake?
No signature. Could be Jake. Could be Mike. Could be Bill.
Oh, okay.
All right. What's the better AD job? Hey guys, after watching USC poach an AD from an in-conference school and giving Bruin fans indigestion over rumors that their AD was possibly interested in the job across town, what is the better athletic director job in your opinions, UCLA or USC? On one hand, UCLA is historically cheap while constantly trying to act not cheap, like they're trying to book the Four Seasons on Priceline. But all fans really expect us to win NCAA championships in the non-revenue sports, maintain a top-level basketball team, and be decent enough in football. Jim Mora never won anything meaningful, and Bruin fans would love to just have a team that consistently approaches his first 3 years. At USC, you don't have to worry about all those silly academic requirements, and there's definitely a green light on anything football-related, but the expectations are constantly ginormous, and you're inevitably going to be caught up in some academic or criminal scandal 4 times a decade. So all that in mind, which one's a better job? This is a no doubt. There's an absolutely correct answer to this, and there's an absolutely incorrect answer to this. You ready for the absolutely correct answer?
Yes.
UCLA, zero doubt. You want to know why? Because your job security, you are keeping that as long as you want it. As long as you want it. Forever. Yeah. How many ADs has USC gone through in the last 10 years? Are they already at 3?
This is their fourth in...
the fourth in, 15 years?
Yeah, fourth and 15, I'd say.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy.
How long was Dan Guerrero there?
He was there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's one of those things what is... you could be... Is it better to be a tenured professor at Cal State LA or something, and you have a whole bunch of job security, you're never going to get the best, brightest students, but you're fine.
And you're getting paid $1 million a year.
And getting paid very well. Or I could be a professor at Cal, and maybe I get a Nobel Prize, winner under my, under me, and there's a little more prestige. There's upside there. So it depends.
Yeah, but
you could get fired.
But your risk of getting fired is profound.
Right.
Because if
you don't produce a Nobel Prize winner,
because the professors you keep hiring keep getting drunk at events, keep getting in fights at events in December, where they have to wear like sunglasses to hide like bruising around their faces. They keep, they keep being terrible, staring at cameras with this expression.
Yeah.
After particularly bad classes they teach, and you get fired for this, and things don't turn out well. There's no doubt the UCLA job is a better one. Not because of anything related to success on the field or any of that stuff, because we've all had jobs. What do you give a shit? You don't care. You're getting paid.
All right.
Yeah. You care about getting paid.
So if you just want to get paid, go to UCLA.
If you want to get paid forever and get a sicky pension at the end of the day, does USC get pensions? Do they get a sicky pension?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
No. UC employees, go check that stuff out. Go check out what Dan Guerrero's still making.
Really?
Yeah. It's a fun time. Go work for the UC.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
I didn't even think
gangbusters.
about that part. That's,
Yeah, dude.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the What's Brewing show. We have a hacker alert. Should I read this? Yeah, I think so. Dave wrote in, just a heads up, last week, your podcast RSS feed was compromised. Uh-oh. Someone uploaded a, quote, Pac-12 preview episode right after your Genius one.
Genuine
Genius. It's honestly sounded like two robots struggling through a badly edited Chat GPT transcript. So actually,
Ryan was mad as hell and he wasn't going to take it anymore.
247 put that up there. And I was like, hey, if you want to put like a show on our feed, let me know first. And they were like, gave me the thumbs up. So they kind of knew I was not very happy about that. Not that I wouldn't say no, but I don't want to see, I didn't like looking at my phone and seeing, hey, that's my podcast feed. Well, I guess partly David's too, but it's mostly mine. I didn't put that up there. Hell no, I know David didn't put that up there. Who the hell put that up there? So, yeah. Okay, questions. He says, how much longer do we have to endure the Alex Grinch coaching? It's this year, and then if they do fine, he'll probably stay.
Well, I don't think he'll be. I don't think he's going to be USC's defensive coordinator after this year. I think he's going to be their head coach after Lincoln Riley moves on to the NFL. And so
for a while.
No, but I mean, he'll be coaching in a different way.
Remember
Now, hopefully, when he moves on to the head coaching job, he still keeps a heavy hand on the defensive coordinating because I think clearly he's one of the top minds on that side of the football in all of college football.
Do you remember he almost became he was a candidate for ASU's job last year?
Yeah, as he should be.
Okay, who deserves...
You're talking about Alex Grinch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who deserves the praise when Jimmy Lake eventually replaces him? Oh. No, he's a fine defensive coordinator. Jimmy Lake's fine. Mm-hmm. Just not head coach.
Yeah.
Like, would you be upset, if a Pac-12 program hired Jimmy Lake to be a defensive coordinator? Any of them?
No.
I think he'd be a good defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Just not head coach. Back in March of 2016, during a podcast discussing Cal's spring practice, that's what we were doing back then.
Who knows?
Dave touched on the inflation increase in Cal's in-state tuition as a Band-Aid solution to their budget problems. Now that the Pac-12, quote, landscape has shifted dramatically, do you still maintain that Cal's financial challenges play a role in the Pac-12's struggles?
I think this is a troll because we joked on our last show that we don't remember things we said last week. I was an entirely different human being in March of 2016. I have no idea what he's even saying here. Like, no idea.
I don't remember. That was a long time.
Yeah, I think he's joking.
Especially with calimony.
There's no way I can remember even what the argument was, let alone whether it's still valid.
All right. His email has emojis in it, like the warning emojis around the hacker alert. Then in his signature or just as sign off, in a format or in a font that I can barely read because it's like the same color as the background, he says, given your knack for roasting my email formatting and grammar, I decided to call in the reinforcements for this email. It was edited by my 11-year-old nephew. He has offered to edit other listener emails $1 each.
Okay.
So if you guys want to contact Dave. But Dave, I don't know why you changed the text is really hard to read.
Yeah, very difficult.
So maybe your nephew can fix that too.
Yeah. This is from Paul/Webfoot. Highest over-under in Pac-12 history. Aloha, champions. I have some questions for David Woods, but Ryan Abraham and Lincoln Riley can chime in as well if he wants, of course. What sort of compromat does Alex Grinch have on Lincoln Riley? At some point, it must become more embarrassing to keep employing Grinch as the DC than to have the blackmail material released to the public. What would be the most embarrassing thing for Lincoln Riley?
Embarrassing thing? I mean,
What kind of compromat could Grinch have on him?
I don't know. I mean, right? Like, what these coaches do, I mean, they're like working in the, I mean, they're 20 hours a week. And
I mean, it's clearly something substantial, right? Like, obviously, he's got some heavy blackmail material on Lincoln Riley. That's the only explanation. I have heard that, like, their wives are very close friends. So, you know, that might explain some of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. He shouldn't still be employed there. He shouldn't have been after last year, but whatever. Also, will the UW versus USC over-under be the highest in Pac-12 history? I'm thinking high 90s, but I'd love to see it crack 100. I'd probably bet the over, whatever it is. Thanks, and go Ducks.
That probably will be pretty high.
It's going to be pretty high, but again, clock rules changed.
That's true.
We're not going 100.
Yeah. Washington secondary is kind of questionable, right?
Yeah,
so,
and USC's obviously ass on defense.
So okay, we got one more voicemail, and then we got a few more emails. Here's the voicemail.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Perk. Dave, you had mentioned a few episodes ago that, when Ryan had mentioned that it was the end of the Pac-12, you had said kind of for now, and you envision things going not necessarily back to normal, but kind of going back to something close to what we've remembered college football as. And I was kind of curious to ask what you think will be the primary driver of that in terms of kind of the conferences coming back. Do you think there'll just be do you think like it'll be the travel costs that get so out of control, or do you think it's more so just fans, depending on what the school is, losing interest and wanting to go back? And likewise, who do you think leads that charge? Do you think it's kind of the bigger schools that want to go back, or do you think it's maybe a school like, say, West Virginia in the Big 12 of, hey, we're traveling all over, we're never going to make the playoff as it is, let's just do something local? I just want to get your thoughts on that. Thanks, guys.
There's going to be a lot of forces that are going to stretch college football even more. I think the biggest one that's going to, be a game changer is when paying players becomes the responsibility of the universities through the TV deal, and they become employees, because that's going to happen. And once that happens, the economies of the sport change drastically.
Yeah.
Because right now, coaches eat up a big part of the personnel budget. Then the money goes into cement. It goes into travel. It goes into food. It goes into all this stuff. That money can be increased in some ways, but on a marginal basis. There isn't a big new pool of money coming in. So when players start getting paid by the universities, they're either going to have to come up with donor funds to fill that need, or it's going to have to come from the TV deals and marketing and all that kind of those deals. So that pool of money is going to be tighter. And they're not going to be able to spend money on certain things that they always were. Are they going to be able to cut coach salaries? Well, it depends on how asymmetrically this happens. If California is first on having to pay players, then all the California-based schools might have to change before, say, the Ohio schools or the Michigan schools or whatever, so have you. But if it ends up being more of a federal thing or everyone doing it at the same time, then everyone has to change at the same time. So then maybe you could see coach salaries dropping, kind of a natural, market correction. But I think when they're going to look at the costs associated with college football, one of the big ones that's going to jump out is how much they end up spending on sports generally to travel, but Olympic sports to travel.
Yes.
That's going to be a huge part because they're going to look at, well, where are we spending on the athletes that we're now paying them? So they're spending on food, they're spending on travel. Well, how do we cut those costs? How do you cut travel costs? You fly pretty much in your same region. You don't spend as much on jet fuel. You're not flying your Olympic teams everywhere. You're busing them some places. Like, these are the things that are going to happen if they want to maintain their athletic programs in full. So it's going to be a strange new thing, and I don't think everyone's asleep at the switch. I don't think anyone's thinking about the ramifications of 2 years down the road, let alone the 5 to 10 that this is all going to take. But within 5 to 10 years, we're going to be looking at an entirely new landscape again. Now, the conferences may or may not be more or less what they are, but the immediate impact of a lot of these financial things are it's impossible to foresee what schools are going to do, but they're going to have to make drastic changes.
And I think it's going to maybe come like I don't think West Virginia can make a move, and that's what sparks everything. It's more of like, hey, this isn't working, and it's going to be up the higher level coming on down. I think that's where you're going to see it.
Yep.
We got a couple more. Peter says, word of caution and for other listeners. Hi, Ryan and Dave. These episodes need to come with a disclaimer that people should not lift heavy objects while listening. I was at the gym and nearly dropped the bar while laughing at Dave's comments on favorite musicians, specifically around Train. That was a good take, apparently. People like that one. Anyways, my question, who would be the worst narrative to win the Pac-12 this year? Most of the world is saying root for Oregon State because they are getting a bad draw with realignment. So who is the opposite of Oregon State from that perspective? USC, UCLA, because they started this. Colorado, because they have had no success and are leaving. Love the show and keep up the good work.
All right, I hate to say it.
Probably USC or UCLA.
I think it's UCLA.
UCLA.
Not USC. Because USC, I think you've got the it's the return of USC. It's a playoff contender. I don't think it has it's got narrative juice nationally and could help to, I don't know if it benefits the league because the league doesn't exist anymore, but I think it's got at least a positive vibe. I don't know that UCLA would, because UCLA, I don't think even if they win the league, it's hard to imagine them winning it in such a way that they're making the playoff out of it. 2-loss UCLA makes it, sure, but they're not getting through with 1 or 0.
It's 2-loss UCLA, and then they play Oregon State in the championship, and Damian Martinez gets hurt, and
and it's
they kind of limp into the championship.
So it's just I think that would be probably
everyone would be
that would be the worst narrative, and the one that I think will be awesome. But I think it would be a very negative narrative.
Okay, I think one of the LA schools, anyway, at this point, you have 8 teams leaving, so it's hard to be the bad guy. Are you going to, who's pissed if Oregon wins it? Or, the only thing is I think it's the positive if Oregon State wins it. Holy crap, the Beavers did something great on their way out. That would be awesome.
Yeah. All right, last one, right?
Yeah, and this is our buddy Matthew, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to wow! Just want to give him some love for doing the picks again. So
yeah, he's the man.
Thanks.
This is Matthew from Mountain View. Why is Stanford still in the wilderness? Hello, Ryan and Dave. I've been trying to figure out why Stanford has been struggling so much to find a new conference home. Yes, football and a little bit of men's basketball drives everything because of TV money, but shouldn't overall athletic success be worth something? Anson Dorrance, the longtime UNC women's soccer coach, 21 NCAA championships, coached Mia Hamm, said last week that he opposed Stanford and Cal joining the ACC because he wanted them to, quote, die on the vine, specifically stating that he wanted to harm Stanford as a competitor, who themselves have won 3 NCAA women's soccer titles since 2018. I thought this was eye-opening, with such a prominent coach stating publicly, before being forced to dial it back the next day, that bringing a good program into the ACC was inherently bad. Here's my hypothesis. The athletic success of new potential conference addition is actually of negative value, as it takes away opportunities for existing schools to win games and titles. Forget about Stanford's other sports having no value. In reality, those sports are actually harming Stanford's conference future. The same is true for football and men's basketball, except that winning attracts viewers, and thus schools are willing to accept tougher competition in return for more TV dollars. What conferences really want from new schools are popular, interesting teams, or teams from major metropolitan areas that suck at football. Hello, Colorado and Rutgers. But in the absence of such holy grails, they'll settle for USC, though bringing along a lesser-performing UCLA is a benefit. What do you think? Does this align with Dave's secret desire to see USC go 0-12 and become a national embarrassment? Imagine the TV ratings. Keep it meh, Matthew.
I think I think it's a good point. So I don't know how good some of the ACC schools are, say at men's tennis, but Stanford's really good, right? I believe they're good at most everything. Or even say USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. I don't know how good they are in tennis, but USC, UCLA, like they've won championships in tennis, men's and women's tennis and stuff. Do they just come in and wipe the floor with them, or like beach volleyball? Like, I mean, stuff like that. You're like, what? We're adding these teams, and like, oh, we did our nice little conference tournament, and yeah, we weren't going to win a national championship, but now you're adding this team that wins national championships in a sport that you guys are okay at. Well, you're going to get creamed in the regular. I mean, there's going to be a clear, I would see Stanford going to the ACC. There's probably where maybe it's more competitive in the Pac-12 with some of these sports. Like if you're playing water polo, like you're not competing, or any of those. I don't even know if they do. But yeah, maybe that's a negative. And, North Carolina's soccer tradition is like unparalleled, but Stanford's been really good lately. Do you want them, like it was like if you were adding UConn to the Big 12, do I want UConn women's basketball coming in and like, dominate? And obviously like Baylor's been good and stuff like that. But yeah, I could see some validation to that. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I think it's I don't think Olympic sports really matter one way or the other, to be totally honest. But I think for essentially a soft case has to be made for schools that are not major TV draws, which is sort of the deal with Stanford and Cal. And the soft case against them, like if you're NC State and you're not really sure whether you want these schools and you poll your coaches, yeah, I mean, do you really want highly competitive Stanford in your league and all of these other things?
Yeah, they win national championships on everything every year.
No, you don't. And I think Anson Dorrance is probably speaking the truth, which is, no, I hope that program dies because they're actually competing with me and kicking my ass a little bit the last few years.
Yeah.
Because coaches are, by and large, at the highest levels of college athletics, sociopaths. They don't care. They just want to win.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I think, and for USC and UCLA, it's not as if, USC is borderline sleeping giant right now. Like Lincoln Riley's got them juiced up a little bit this year and last, but it's been a hot minute since USC was really good.
Yeah.
And so I think for Ohio State and Michigan, would it be a different deal if they had an opportunity to pull in USC, say, in 2005? Would they have been so gung-ho for them jumping into the Big Ten then? I don't know. I think they still would have because it brought in a lot of money, but I don't know. And I think for UCLA, it's been a bit of a longer minute, but I don't know that they would have been as juiced to bring them in 1998 as they are right now.
Yeah.
They bring in a lot of money, and they've been inconsistent at best in their football performance. So I do think there's validity to what Matthew's saying. I don't know how much it pertains to the Olympic sports, though.
All right. We had one YouTube question from Hugo. Have either of you tried the new Stone Fight On Pale Ale? We're seeing schools get branded beers. I think I might have a picture of this. Have you tried any of those? I haven't tried the Stone.
I'm going to steal a joke, but you ready for it?
Yeah, here.
I've already tried the Stone USC beer. It's called Arrogant Bastard.
Nice. I do like Arrogant Bastard, actually.
Yeah, I bet you do.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I put it up on the screen there. I have not tried it yet, Hugo. But does UCLA have one?
No.
I don't know if there's other Pac-12 schools. They probably do. Like, it's kind of becoming a thing. Like for NIL or whatever, you get branded beers. Money goes to the players. Yeah, get drunk and help the players.
Love it.
Yeah. So I have not tried
proof.
I have not tried it yet, but maybe I will at some point. All right, well, let's go to wrap things up.
Wrap it up.
David Woods. I'm going to do an interview with a writer that covers Nevada. It's hard when you play a team, when the team you cover plays a team that's not very well covered. It's usually hard to find like a beat writer. Found a guy, Chris Murray, so I'm going to talk to him. It's like Nevada Sports Network or something like that. And we're doing our live show tonight, 5 p.m., right as the Utah kicks off. So we're going to do our USC Nevada preview show. And I'm going to tell you the secret. The reason why is because I've got an 8 o'clock fantasy football draft, so I had to do the show early. But I wanted to watch the end of the Utah game anyway. So I'll have the game on here and then watch Arizona State later on too. So I want to be able to watch the end of the game. Mm-hmm. Do you think it'll be close?
Yeah.
I kind of think
in the first half before Utah beats that ass.
Beats some ass. All right. All right, well, that's going to wrap things up. We did all of our picks against the spread. Make sure you go check out MyBookie, promo code Pac-12 for a deposit bonus. Anything else, David? I think we're good.
I'm great. I feel wonderful. I feel refreshed. I feel all of my anxieties have blown away. My level of nervousness is at the lowest level it's been in some months. I feel great. I feel like a new man. The wind is blowing my sails. Just ready.
I'm ready too. Pac-12 football, we got it here. First of all, thanks everyone for tuning in. I think we had over 110 people watching live. That's amazing. That's just so cool. Sticking with us for like almost 2 hours. That's David Woods over there. I am Ryan Abraham. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will talk to you next time.
Pig farmer.